Welcome to the Next Project. We are taking a look at a learning curve event that was suggested to me by a commenter in a previous video where I should investigate the work by Sam Deeks and a process that he uses to do under tension leveling of frets while the guitar is all strung up and ready to go. We are going to take this $50 Goodwill Squire Affinity and turn it into a rock machine as we start the Next Project. There's a product called the Rectify Master Katana. It's an understring, under tension type fret leveler, which is cool. There's a product called the Woodtone UTFL. It's like Utah, Florida. It stands for under tension fret leveler. It has an interesting approach as the guitar is strung up, but the headstock and the body are clamped down to bring the neck back to a flat line. With the strings raised, the frets are leveled. Then we have things by StewMac. They have a thing called the Fret Bar, which is an understring leveler. Just watching their videos, I'm a little confused on how they expect you to use it. It appears to maybe need the same process of either the wood tone or maybe just detune the guitar so the neck relaxes to a flat, straight position so you can level the frets. I don't know. The comment that was left in previous video brings us around to Sam Deeks' banana tool, which is actually a truss rod, and it is an under tension device, not necessarily under string, but it's the device we're going to be looking at in this video, and then also coming up with maybe my what if we do something different idea as we cruise along and start the next project. I probably should offer a disclaimer and let everybody know this is a test. I've never done this before. This is a new way of doing things to me, so don't get your knickers in a wad if you see something you don't like. Just roll with it. We're here to have fun and maybe learn something. Try new things. The guinea pig today is a Squire Affinity guitar purchased off Goodwill for $50. Looked pretty good in the photo. Looked okay when I received it. But the string action was like a mile off of the fingerboard, which that happens. String height at the first fret was around 15 thousandths on the high E, about 25 thousandths on the low E. The bridge was jacked all the way up. You could basically drive a truck under the strings back by the pickups. It was high, really high. So we're going to start getting this guitar set up, and we're following Sam Deeks' initial setup process. And if you're interested in that, please check out Sam's video. There's a link to it in the description below. Okay, we've got the first part of this experiment learning curve process underway. We have got the bridge adjusted to bring the string height down to about 1.5 millimeter from E to E at the 21st fret all the way across. That's pretty low. We've got the truss rod adjusted. It was at 18 thousandths of an inch, which was pretty substantial. Now we've got the truss rod adjusted. We have about 6 thousandths of an inch relief, which is kind of a nice area. Anywhere, everybody's going to say they want something different. I think, what does Fender say, 10 thousandths? So we're under Fender and way under what this came with. We have also gone up and changed the fret slot depth, brought them all down to right around that 11 thousandths range all the way across. Sam Deeks says 0.3 millimeter, so a third of a millimeter. I don't have a metric set of feeler gauges, so I use the Imperial version that has metric numbers on it also. So I'm at, I think it was the 12,000, 12,000. I don't know. I'll take a look at it. Whatever it shows in the video, that's what I did. I've already lost my mind. So we got that down, and it's low. I got it very rough tuned. It's hard to hear over the air conditioner and the fan and everything, but it's low. Now we need to look for fret out and fret buzz and choke and all those good things as we continue a learning curve experiment. Okay, we've got the first step of our initial attempt at learning this level sanding going on. I've got the truss rod adjusted to match the shape of the neck. I did use some small cutoffs of brass rod that are all the same diameter. Put the truss rod on top of those, adjusted the truss rod until it touched all but wasn't rocking or bridging. So we got the truss rod pretty much matching the shape of the neck. Push the strings out of the way at the nut, and then also just use like a household eraser to spread the strings at the bridge side. Then I ran the truss rod with the sandpaper across the tops of the frets along the first string path, and I noticed it was doing what we're expecting. It's hitting the high spots and skipping over the low spots, so that's good. It's there's no lie in the delivery of information. And I did notice, just from doing some string bends and chromatic note tests up and down the neck, looking for, problem areas, that it's pretty much hitting where I was finding questionable spots. We are also going to try another method. So we'll have our truss rod version with sandpaper on it. I'm also going to try some carbon fiber rod that's 1/4 inch wide, 1/8 inch thick, pretty rigid, and I put some sandpaper on it as well. And what I'm thinking is maybe we can just push this down. It will flex just enough that as it slides, it will hit just the tops of the high frets. Hopefully, maybe not, maybe it won't work, but it's rigid enough that it will bridge across the high spots, not droop into the low spots. And maybe we'll get the same or similar result with this as we get with this. I don't know. We're going to find out as we continue the next project.
As you can see, I have some tape stuck on the top of the carbon fiber rod, and that's double-sided tape. My fingers kept sliding off of the carbon fiber rod as I was using it, so I put a little tape on there. That way my fingers just kind of stick to it, and it was working really well. If you can see it on the fingerboard, there is a lot of sanding debris on the fingerboard now, and I'm doing some chromatic runs up and down the neck, a lot of testing of bends. I can't believe how much better this setup is at the moment. The strings really do move better. They don't fret out. They're not choking anywhere. It's just a great experience. It's a good learning curve. I can see myself doing this again in the very near future. All this level sanding has left a pretty rough finish, though. It's like walking barefoot on a gravel road right now. We need to do some cleanup and polishing. As I said earlier, this is just a down and dirty quick test of this whole process. I am going to do a quick crown and polish on this just to see how the frets work once it's all done, using some 3-in-1 oil, cutting fluid basically. With the fret files, I'm using the Music Nomad S file. I'm not entirely sold on this file. It leaves a fairly wide crown. I'm trying to cheat it a little bit, roll it side to side, but that kind of defeats the purpose of the built-in safety that's down the center of this file. But it did okay. Definitely have to use oil with it. It is so coarse, it really was scarring these frets all up. Here I'm going back, finishing the job with the, the Fret Guru Diamond Dagger 2.0. Between the two files, it did a good job.
Okay, we have got this learning curve test done. We did it really quick, fast, dirty. Real life situation, we would take a little more time and do a better job. I skipped over sanding the frets after I had leveled them. I did hit them quickly with a couple crowning files, Music Nomad S file, which I kind of am on the fence about. I love it and I don't really like it. It did do some work on this neck, but I had to follow it up with another tool. I used the Fret Guru Diamond Dagger 2.0 to finish achieving a hairline crown. The Music Nomad is very coarse, and honestly, both of these files work much better when I was using some cutting lubricant, 3-in-1 oil in this case, with the file. They both did a better job. They don't plug up either, but that's off topic. That's a different topic. This process, I want to thank the commenter again for pointing me in the direction of Sam Deeks, and thank you, Sam Deeks, for posting this for all of us to learn from and borrow from. I've got this really low, roughly 10 thousandths at the high E and about 12 thousandths at the low E, really low. We've got the bridge decked. I've got between 1 1/4 and 1.5 millimeters of action height at the 21st fret, about 6 thousandths relief in the neck, pretty low, pretty flat. If I strike a string hard, the low E string at least, it'll buzz, the string will rattle off the frets. You can hear it a little bit maybe. And that's really just action being too low. That's the string oscillating this big when it has, it's oscillating this big and it has that much room to do it in. So that's really not a problem of this process. That's a problem of just having it too low. But it tuned up, it's really low. I'm gonna take it home, plug it in, and see or listen for issues, but acoustically in the garage, right now, it's way better than it was when I got it. The action is really low, nice. A lot of the fret issues have been resolved without doing a major surgery on it. Nice. I did use the carbon fiber rod and the Sam Deeks banana to do pretty much this whole thing. Well, to do this whole thing. I did kind of go back over everything with the carbon fiber rod and clean it all up. I'm kind of leaning in that direction right now. So that was a good learning thing, good takeaway. If you have an old scrap guitar and a carbon fiber rod and some stick-it sandpaper, this is 320 grit, maybe give this a try. It's really interesting. I think we can improve on it as we go, and I will continue to do this test on other guitars. I've got a couple more guitars coming up that I'm going to try it on. So thank you again to the commenter who pointed me in this direction. Thank you to Sam Deeks for posting the video. Thank you for hanging out with me during this learning curve process. I'm pretty excited about it. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Give it a thumbs up because YouTube wants to know what you like, and I like to know what you like too. Leave comments if you haven't done so already. Love to hear from everybody all around the world. Ring the bell for future notifications. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you. Bye.